70 mods to transform Fallout 4 into the classic Fallouts. Let's go. So we're going to start with the main menu. So classically Fallout main menu by Parking Lot Pete. And then another one, the Fallout 1 and 2 main menu music by Benzo Dude. So this literally will change the intro, well the main menu, to a Fallout 1 or Fallout 2 theme. Listen. Secondly is the UI. This is created by Altered Beast and it's the Fallout 1 thematic. So this is practically identical to the Fallout 1 and Fallout 2's HUD. So if you do remember that, it looks pretty much the same. I do like it, it's kind of cool. The annoying part is it will take up some of your screen, especially in first and third person. Third person's not too bad, but in first person, because the guns are so close to your face, it kind of makes them so you can't see them. But it's pretty much identical and it's a pretty cool one to have. Next up is the Pip-Boy 2000, and it's created by Pimp Crew. So this is definitely one of those to get those feels from Fallout 1 and 2, because it's pretty much the same theme as Fallout 1 and 2. So this is definitely a must-have. Just like my previous Fallout New Vegas video, it's practically exactly the same. But this is a more updated next-gen version because it's Fallout 4. But it's pretty cool as well. When you put your holotapes in, it will actually have an animation for that, which is pretty sick. I didn't think it'd have that, but it's absolutely essential to have a classic feel. So now we're going to talk about the music. So I'm going to shut up for this one, but this is the ambience music, Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 inspired. This will replace all of the music and tracks from the original Fallout 4's game to a Fallout 1 and 2 version. Fallout 1 Game Over by Altered Beast will give you 5 different versions of Ron Perlman's speeches from the original Fallout games like Fallout 1. They will play randomly, so have a listen. Now.
Your life ends in the wasteland.
Now to change the world map on your Pip-Boy, you have to download, there it is, Satellite Maps for Collectors. I don't even want to pronounce that or his name, but yeah, that's his name that I put in the video. But this will change the actual satellite map, or the actual map itself, to a satellite version, just like you've seen in Fallout 1 and 2, with actual colour and definition to the map, which is another must-have, so you can have that Fallout 1 and 2 feel. For the XP sounds, this is classic old school XP gain sound by Deutsche Wolke, which gives you that sexy bleep from the original Fallout games. For the interface, we have full dialogue interface by Surison and Shadwar. So this will kind of revert to the old feel for the interface anyway. So I wouldn't say it's more similar to the Fallout 1 and 2 because it is in like a terminal style and your character's face is zoomed in, or the person you're talking to. But it gives it that classic feel where you can actually see all the dialogue lines instead of that shit version that Fallout 4 gave us, which is horrible. You can get a no voice lines for your character, but I actually kind of prefer the character speaking. So you can go for that mod which makes your character not speak at all, just for that actual old school. But I actually do kind of like it with your cinematic feel to it, with the characters talking. So yeah, full dialogue interface, a must have.
Our armor so special.
Oh, West Tech internalized
A distant memory.
It is now the year 2077.
So now we have all of the weapons, so there is a hell of a lot of weapons to go through here. So instead of me presenting the author and naming each weapon, I'm just going to show them on screen like I usually do. But I'm just going to show a little montage of every single weapon I can physically find on the Nexus that is from Fallout 1 and 2. So these are actually tactics as well. So we're going to show all weapons from those 3 games. We're not going to show any Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas weapons. But yeah, we're just going to show every single weapon I can physically find on the Nexus from those original games. And there's like 20-30 mods for the weapons, and some of them are very high quality, some of them are not so great, but the actual texture quality on the very good ones do look absolutely amazing. Most of these weapons are pistols. There's a lot of assault rifles. You can actually get akimbo Desert Eagles, which is pretty sick, which isn't from the original game, but you can get a Desert Eagle from the original game if you just like the single versions instead of the akimbos. But if you like akimbos, then obviously you can go for that as well. I mean, it's pretty sick. It's like your fucking Tomb Raider or something. But yeah, you have pistols, rifles, plasma weapons, laser pistols, plasma pistols, fucking all sorts. Then also your big heavy ones like your plasma like minigun things. I forgot the name of it. I think it's called the Winchester. But there's light machine guns as well, like this M60 here. But like I've said previously, a lot of these are very high texture. They have all their own custom animations as well, which will absolutely just better than the original animations for the game. So they are actually have their own custom animations instead, and the majority of them use their own sounds. So each weapon, well, not every single weapon, but a majority of them does have their own sound for the gunfire instead of just using vanilla sounds for the weapons, which I think vanilla weapons in the vanilla Fallout don't look or sound absolutely amazing. So these modders have actually used their own weapon sounds and their own custom animations for each individual weapon. So the laser pistols and some of the rifles and most of the assault rifles too do have many modifications to them, so they may not look exactly similar to the one you have in game, but using console commands, if you just like spawning like 30 variants of the same weapon, they will come in with like 10 different modifications on each weapon. So most of these weapons can be modified, so they have different scopes, different mags, different stocks, different rails, and obviously different muzzles and stuff like that, and obviously your silencers too. So they will look completely different compared to just your standard one. So I'm showing off, they're probably my favourite looking ones or the most average looking ones, just so you can have somewhat of a feel to what they look like. But yeah, most of these are, well, all of these are from Fallout 1, 2 and Tactics. So a lot of people forget about Tactics, but there's actually a lot of mods on Nexus for Fallout 4 that is for Tactics. I think there's actually a hell of a lot more armor mods anyway for Tactics than there is just for the standard Fallout 1 and 2 armor mods, because for some reason no one's really making the armor mods from Fallout 1 and 2, but there is quite a few Fallout Tactic armor mods compared to the weapons. The weapons is a lot of Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 weapons compared to Tactics, which, I mean, a majority of these will show in Tactics as well, but most of these are from Fallout 1 and 2. And the great thing about this as well, most of these weapons will show up in game, so raiders, scavvers, every single enemy type that can carry a weapon, or NPCs too, will carry these firearms. So it's not just the player character finding them or using console commands. And some of them actually do have their own quests, so click on the mod depending on which one you like. Some of these will actually have quests revolved around that weapon and you can find it, or you can just use console commands to get the weapon instantly. So it's completely up to you, but you can actually get them off a lot of the NPCs and the enemies in game, so it's not just you using them, because obviously that would be kind of boring and you kind of want everyone to be using these weapons. So they're given to all of the characters in the world, so then it's like you are playing Fallout 1 and 2 in a sense. I mean, it's not identical to Fallout 1 and 2 obviously, but it's somewhat similar to it with using the same firearms from those games. I mean, the graphics ain't going to look exactly the same as it, because obviously that's old as hell and it's like top-down isometric view or whatever, compared to this, which is obviously a 3D game where you can see everything. I mean, it would be cool if they brought back Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 remastered into modern days next-gen graphics, but I feel like that will never happen. But it would be an absolutely awesome game if they did bring both of them back, and Tactics as well. But I highly much doubt Bethesda will do that, because the actual feel for Fallout 1 and 2 and Tactics have a hell of a lot more gritty feel compared to these, which are kind of more vibrant and colourful, which I don't really like. I mean, even with mods where you can darken the game and using EMPs, it still looks somewhat colourful. Well, Fallout 4 does anyway. That's one of the reasons I don't really like Fallout 4 that much, because it's just too vibrant and friendly feeling, and it's kind of like fucking Fortnite or something. Everything's just so colourful, which I don't like. I kind of feel like the grittiness of the original games kind of makes it more scary and I'd say more post-apocalyptic, and it kind of feels like the first Mad Max film with Mel Gibson, where everything's run down, it's drab, it's horrible looking, and everyone's just out to kill everyone, and it's just dirty feeling, compared to this, which is kind of like a fucking fun land in comparison to the original. And also another good thing about all of these weapons, you can find legendary variants of them. So if your guns are underpowered because you leveled up to like level 50, you can find legendary versions of a majority of these weapons. So you can get actual effects on them, so then your weapons aren't shit compared to killing like Deathclaws and high leveled raiders, because obviously if you're just using the bog standard variants of them at high level, you will just get absolutely fucking licked up, won't you? So you can find legendary versions of the majority of these weapons in game, so then you can actually survive against the most horrible animals and enemies in game, so then you just don't get absolutely fucking smashed up by everyone using the bog standard normal versions you can get. And if you can't be arsed but listen to me blabble on about random shit, just go to the timestamp on the video and you can timestamp straight to the armor pieces, which you might find a bit more juicy than me just showing off like a million different weapons. But if you are enjoying these weapons, just hi guys, I'm glad you stayed and you're listening to me talk about random shit until the armor pieces come up, because I'm kind of lost for words what to say now, because there's just so many fucking weapons to go through. But yeah, actually we'll just start speaking about some of the firearms in this video. So next up is the Voltec MPL, which is kind of got like a metallic colour to it. It's kind of silver by Bloodmeat 08. So this is a nice little SMG to add to your game. It's from I think it's from Fallout 2 or Fallout Tactics from what I remember. I'm not too sure. It's been a long time since I played them. Now the Uzi. So this is from Subletter, well, made by Subletter. So from what I remember, this was a one-handed Uzi in the original. I'm not too sure. But this is a two-handed version. I couldn't actually find a one-handed version, but it's close enough. Yeah, so now we have that gun from Fallout 2. I don't even fucking remember. It's been so long, but I know this is 100% from New Vegas anyway. Sadly, it doesn't have the night vision sounding reload noise from Fallout New Vegas, which would have been pretty cool. But this is from the actual old school classic Fallouts as well, not just New Vegas. Some of these weapons will actually merge into Fallout 3 and New Vegas, because most of the weapons from those games have actually came from the original. But there wasn't many weapons in Fallout 3. They were kind of awful. New Vegas had a lot of callbacks to weapons from the old school Fallout games, which was pretty cool. And even if you're not interested in remaking the old classics into Fallout 4, there is a lot of weapons on this list that just look like regular weapons, like real world weapons, like this pistol here, the P220 or whatever. So this is just a regular fire alarm you'll see in many video games, but it's a nice little addition to have to your game, even if you're not interested in remaking it in the old classics. Now the DKS sniper rifle, this has been shown in like every Fallout game. It was in Fallout 3 New Vegas with the Gobi Scout rifle. Obviously this with a mod. It wasn't actually in this game, but they had like their own version to it, which is like a modified hunting rifle, which is shit in my opinion. But this is a nice little sniper rifle I have. It looks exactly like the ones from the classics and Fallout 3 New Vegas as well. But it's better than the hunting rifle fully modified in Fallout 4, which I thought looked absolutely awful. In my opinion, all the weapons in Fallout 4 just look terrible, and you definitely need mods to amplify the weapons, because a lot of them do look very terrible. Now the Grease Gun SMG by Hitman and Deadpool. Hitman actually does make some absolutely awesome mods and reload animations as well. So he's actually had a lot of mods in New Vegas. I'm not too sure about Fallout 3, but when I've done my New Vegas videos, his name has came up hell of a lot. So he's definitely a very popular mod author that does absolutely astounding reload animations, which you definitely need to check him out. The Grease Gun is one of my favourite weapons of all time anyway. It's just in so many World War II games, and it just looks absolutely awesome. Apparently it was very easily to make, and it's very cheap for the costing in World War II, but it's a very nice little weapon I do like. This is the Watts 2000 laser rifle by Trinity Test. Now this is kind of like a just like a laser, well, it's just like any laser rifle or laser pistol in the game, but it's a sniper version from the old school games, and it's a very nice weapon. There isn't many laser rifle kind of weapons like this. That's a semi-automatic. It does look pretty cool though, and I do like the hazardous like under barrel section that kind of looks like a hazard logo or whatever you want to call it, but it does look very nice, and it's just kind of like just a bog standard laser rifle from the oldies, but it's a decent one. The AUG is probably actually one of my favourite assault rifles of all time. I do love this weapon, and I do like it in all the old school Call of Duties like Black Ops 1, and it's just very nice looking. It looks extremely futuristic, and I do like where the mag placement is, and the actual scope, how it's like already attached to the rifle itself. But it is a very nice gun, and it's definitely one of my favourites of all time. And the actual colour of the gun, it's like a green, does match in with the combat armour, which I do very like. It's a very nice combination that goes quite well if you want to be camouflaged into the world. Next up is the Flamer pistol from Tactics. So this is Scythe Ropo. So this is basically just a pistol that's a flamer. So if you don't want to have a big massive fucking flamer on your back and a big two-handed flamer weapon, this is a pistol that'll do it all for you. It's kind of powerful, and it's a nice little weapon. It's a little sidearm you can have carrying around if you do not like your two-handed weapons, because I'm not a big fan of two-handed weapons anyway in the Fallout game. So this is a nice little one if you just want to have a single-handed weapon in the game. I mean your heavy weapons. Now this is the Watts Laser Gun Legacy by Deadpool, Haru and Friends. Now this is very cool. It kind of reminds me of the M16 but a laser rifle. Obviously there's different modifications you can get to these guns, so they might not look exactly like the ones you've got, but the actual handrail on top does remind me of the M16 from the Vietnam era war. So it's probably one of my favourite laser rifles now, like compared to any laser rifle Bethesda makes. Like this is fucking cool as fuck. Like it does look like a laser rifle variant of the M16. And then you've got the actual ammo placement on the back of the gun that kind of looks like what Halo has and their weapons, but it's obviously taken from the fucking pulse rifle. Now we've got the Bullpup Bozar by Deadpool and Hitman. So this was actually featured in New Vegas, but it was also in the old school Fallouts too. And this is basically just a semi-automatic, and it can also be fully automatic as well, rifle with a scope on it. It's very nice, and I do actually really like it in New Vegas, and obviously the old school Fallouts as well. And I do like the mag placements on these guns that are actually at the back instead of like the center area or the middle of the rifle. But it's a pretty powerful one as well. So if you do like scoped rifles, this is one for you. Just semi-automatic or fully automatic, but I don't think you'll be able to handle the recoil on fully automatic with a scoped rifle like this. But it's definitely one of the nicest guns I've seen from the oldies anyway. Next up is a weapon from Fallout 2, the Pancor Jackhammer, which is a shotgun. Weirdly enough, it kind of actually looks like a rifle or something from the second Alien movie, which the Colonial Marines use, but it sounds absolutely meaty, and I just love the echo-ness of the rounds when they go through the air, but it actually does look pretty sick, and the reload on it is pretty nice as well. I don't think the texture quality on this weapon is the best, but the actual rifle itself does look pretty sick, and in third person it looks very nice as well. But yeah, it's definitely one of the coolest, which looks like something from Colonial Marines, the Alien movie anyway. Now the G11K2 Kraut Space Magic by Ace or whatever you want to say, pronounce that. This is a very weird weapon. I showed this in my previous video. It's a very strange looking weapon, and I don't think it was very manufactured back in the day when it came out in like the 80s, but it's a very strange looking weapon from the oldies. And yeah, I'd actually use this in game because it does look very cool and very weird at the same time, very sci-fi, and the actual scope is already pre-attached to the weapon, and the reload animation is extremely well done. Next we have the YK Pulse Rifle by Free Nicky. So this reload animation for this is exactly like the musket rifle, but it is a very nice little laser rifle thing. I don't think the reload's very great because obviously you'll get absolutely smashed up just like you will with the musket rifle, but other than that it does look very nice, and it kind of looks like an alien gun, and it's got all the Tesla coils on top. It's not that powerful. It's a decent weapon to have, but like I said, the reload animation is very slow, so you probably will get smashed up, but it's definitely a gun from the oldies, which you need to check out. But it looks very well done, and the textures are pretty nice on this one, so check this one out. Now we have the Winchester P94 by Free Nicky and Senkyo1. So this is a heavy weapon you can use, a heavy laser or plasma weapon you can use. It's definitely one of the nicest looking ones, and I do like the plasma weapons because I think this is actually in Fallout 76, but it wasn't in any of the Bethesda video games anyway. But it's a nice little heavy weapon to have, which you can roleplay like an Enclave soldier or a big massive Frank Horrigan version, which will go very well with that actually. Now we have the Ghost Rifle, the M72 by the Big Lebowski. So I don't really like this one, but it does look pretty cool. It's very slow fire rate, but it's a nice little weapon to have. Personally, I don't think it's one of my favourites, but it does look cool, and I do like the blue pulse rounds that come at the end. But it's a very slow firing weapon, so you probably will get smashed up. But other than that, the weapon is quite hard hitting, so it kind of makes up for it in some sense. Now I'm going to play some relaxing Resident Evil music because my mind is actually exploding from trying to talk about every single one of these weapons. So if you just want to skip to the armor, that's completely up to you. But if you want to see the rest of the weapons, carry on watching for like the next 4 or 5 minutes. There's still a lot more to go through. But if you want to see the actual juicy segment with all the armor pieces, just skip to the segment on the timestamp. So nice Resident Evil 3 music playing now. Right, I'm back anyway, broskies. This is Echoes from the Midwest Metal Armor Mark 1 by Drakey D. So this is from Fallout Tactics. So this one is somewhat skimpy in a sense, because if you don't wear any Under Armour underneath, your character is somewhat half nude, especially if you're a female anyway. The butt cheeks will be hanging out. Everyone likes that, don't they? But yeah, this is a nice one, and the texture qualities on this is very well done. So if you do remember the metal armor from Fallout Tactics, it's pulled straight from that. Obviously in a Fallout 4 version, but I think this is actually one of my favourite armor mods for Fallout 4. It does fit into the aesthetic of Fallout 4, and your companions, if you put them on your companions, they look very nice. And if you have this in the game world as well, and it's distributed to the NPCs, yeah, that would look absolutely awesome. But I will show you what it looks like with the Under Armour completely removed. As you can see, the butt cheeks are hanging out. A lot of people like that, a lot of people don't, but I personally would like this, but I'm not going to run around the game world like this every single day, just when I'm horny. Joking. Anyway, next up is the Echoes from the Midwest Raider Armor by Drakey D again. So this is the Raider Armor from Fallout Tactics. It does look very cool and actually quite intimidating and scary. I do like the face mask on this one. It does go quite well with the female character. Again, if you do not wear any under armor with this, your character will be somewhat nude in a sense. But the armor itself is very well done. The texture quality is awesome. And again, it does fit into Fallout 4. So if you do give it to your companions or any NPC in the game, it will largely fit into the game itself. But it's very nice, and I do like the brown colours and textures to it. And I'll be definitely carrying this on my character to give my character that scary raider look. Especially if you go into Nuke World, it will fit into there. Well, some of the enemy factions anyway. But I do like the spikes on top, and it just looks absolutely scary and intimidating for any of the wandering scavengers in the waste, and you see this person come up to you, you'll probably run the opposite direction. You won't want to come after this woman because she looks pretty scary. So yeah, this is another Raider Armor mod that you'll definitely need to get that Fallout Tactics feel into Fallout 4, because yeah, it's very nice. Now next up is a Power Armor mod, but it's not. So this is the Fallout Tactics Midwestern Power Armor by Nut You Later. So this is the non-power armor version. So this is an actual armor mod without the power armor, so you don't have to wear a chassis on it. But this is the Midwestern Power Armor from Fallout Tactics, which you will see in the cover art and which they do wear in the video game. So this is very nice, and the textures on this is awesome. And the sad thing is it does weigh a hell of a lot for your character to carry around. But other than that, the armor is actually pretty sick, and the only thing I don't really like about it is the actual shoulder pads. The shoulder pads look absolutely fucking abnormally large, and it's cool though because it does have the Brotherhood steel on the side with the chain thingy on the other arm, and there's a look like there's blood smeared on it. That's either blood or rusted iron or metal or whatever. But it does look pretty sick, and like I said, the actual shoulder pads are just kind of very weirdly, abnormally large for the character. But it's definitely a must-have to get the Fallout Tactics feel anyway, especially if you want to role-play as them in this game, and you can do with this mod. So, like I said, the armor is kind of, the proportion is not very great on this armor, but it does look sick other than that. So now we're going to combine two armor mods. So this is Classic Combat Armor by Castiel and Team Fallout 4 New Vegas, and then another backpack mod. So we'll kind of combine these two mods to create the combat armor from the old school Fallouts like Fallout 1 and Fallout 2. So this armor isn't directly pulled from the original games, but it does look somewhat similar. And if you wear BOS, I think it's the paddling knight uniform underneath the combat armor, and then combine it with this backpack mod, it will kind of give you that look from the old Fallouts, which are the classic combat armors from the first game and the second game. So like I said, this is actually like your Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3 combat armor, but this is the closest thing we can get to the classic combat armor from the oldies. But sadly, there isn't an actual classic combat armor in Fallout 4's Nexus site, so this is the only thing closest I can do to it to kind of give you that look, because of the brown colours on the under armour, and then the brown backpack, which is somewhat similar, because obviously in the combat armours in the original Fallouts does have a backpack on the back of it. So sadly, this is the closest thing we can get to it, and it's not an actual one official mod. Next up is the T51B paint and hood by Nice Guy Henry. So this will give you the classic paint job for your T51 power armor in game. So instead of, I think it was all like a steel color for the original armor in the game, this gives it the old school color from the original games, and like Fallout 3, New Vegas, whatever, yeah, same games, same color. So you can have that classic like vintage colour instead of just a full steel colour, which you get in this game, which I don't really like. And the actual collar plate here is an actual brown colour. It just looks absolutely better than the original one. Now this is Midwest Power Armor Evolution. So this is basically the power armor version of the Midwest armor I showed previously. So for you guys that actually do like the power armor in this game, you can get the power armor version, which I think does look slightly better. The BOS logo on the side is in white instead of in blue, but it's obviously a more bulkier version than the one I showed before. Obviously, if you do like power armor in Fallout 4, this is definitely for you. And if you don't like power armor in Fallout 4, you can get the armor version. But this is a very nice armor, and it's very bulky. It's more rounded, but I actually do think this is probably one of my favorite power armors now from what I can see, and I do like the brown color to it. But the art's line up, and it works perfectly fine, this mod. So yeah, you definitely need to get this one for the Midwestern Tactics theme.
The entire world unraveled.
Now we're going to show the companions and creatures. So this is Lamprey Floaters by HCG and Grill. So this basically just adds the floaters from Fallout 2. And I think they do actually show in Fallout 76 from what I remember. But yeah, this will add the floaters from Fallout 2 into Fallout 4. They are very well done. They float around. They're kind of like bloat flies, but they shoot at like a gamma ray, it looks like. Kind of looks a bit like spit, and it sounds like spit, but it looks like a gamma ray. But these are very scary looking. They look like something out of fucking Doom, to be honest with you. But they are very cool, and you will find, well, all of these creature mods will be shown in the Glowing Sea. You can't actually find them anywhere else. Well, I'm not too sure, but I only could find them in the Glowing Sea. Now, this is the Wasteland Bestiary Wanamingos by Stamper Does Mods. So the Wanamingos do show up in Fallout 2, and again, I think they are in Fallout 76 from what I remember. But these are very scary. They're very large as well, and they do look like they've got a lot of blood on their skin. It's like a black and red skin, or maybe they're just charred from like fire, but they are very scary looking. They are quite easy to kill though, so I don't know if they are actually meant to be quite hard to kill. But in this mod, they're very easy to kill, and these are also shown in the Glowing Sea. I've not found any of these enemies outside of the Glowing Sea, but they kind of hang around on the outskirts and the inside of the Glowing Sea, and they will be fighting all the other creatures as well. But they do smash up the rad scorpions, but the Death Claws do absolutely lick them up, and they just absolutely destroy the Wanamingos, so they're not that very well placed against Death Claws. And they also will kill all the floaters as well, which do die in like one hit, sadly. Now, this is a mod that I was 100% missing from Fallout 4. This is Capital Wasteland Centaurs by HC Grill and the Fried Turkey. Now, we were missing Centaurs, just admit it, in Fallout 4. So instead of just mutant hounds, we have Centaurs as well, which are fucking absolutely terrifying, and they are 100% missed from the oldies. Now, this doesn't look exactly like the Centaurs from Fallout 1 and 2, since they did have a lot of dog heads on them, but it will replace not all the mutant hounds. I don't think it fully replaces them, but it adds them alongside mutant hounds as well. And the actual tongs have animations as well, which is nice. And yeah, so this is definitely one of the ones you need to get to give yourself the Centaurs from the oldies, instead of just having mutant hounds, which I didn't really like. Now we have the Mojave Mantises by Fried Turkey and HC Grill. So Mantises are in Fallout 2 and also Fallout New Vegas, but we're trying to show all the everything from Fallout 1, 2 and Tactics. Now, they were shown in New Vegas and Fallout 2, but they probably won't really fit into the biome in Fallout 4, but it is a nice addition to have to get that feel from the old school games. And they do show in a lot in Fallout New Vegas as well, but we're trying to keep to Fallout 1, 2 and Tactics instead of 3 and New Vegas. Some of these, like I said, will cross over because Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas does have a lot of enemy types, weapons, stuff like that from the classic Fallout games. Now we have the Geckos. Mojave Geckos by Fried Turkey and HC Grill. So these will add geckos into Fallout 4, which are also shown in Fallout New Vegas, but also in the classics as well. Like I said, the biome is probably not the best for a gecko, but it somewhat fits in, and they absolutely just smash every fucking settler down the road, because I was walking down the street and they were coming out in hordes, just absolutely killing everyone, smashing up caravans, just absolutely causing an absolute menace to the world. So I think that's why it's kind of great, because instead of just walking down the street and not many enemies coming after you in the game, these guys just come out the fucking bushes and just absolutely raid everyone and just smash everyone up. Now the companion, so this is Frank Horrigan Strong Power Armor by Mr. Scumdog. So there is a Frank companion out there, but it doesn't work very well. So I do actually try downloading that mod, but he wouldn't get recruited, and he does have his own voice lines, which are made by an actual modder themselves, and it is quite cool, but I don't want to show that because it wasn't working very well. So I'm just going to show the Frank Horrigan Power Armor for Strong. So Strong does sound like quite a dumb guy, but it's the only closest thing I can get to Frank Horrigan, and Strong is obviously very tall like Frank Horrigan. Not as tall as him, but he's somewhat a replacement for him, and it's the closest thing I can get to Frank Horrigan as a companion. So this Power Armor will make him exactly like him, and it's very well done, and the texture quality on this Power Armor is very nice, and it's better than Strong's original armor you get for him anyway. And yeah, if you put him up with a Winchester power rifle as well, it does go quite well, and it does look exactly like Frank. Now we have the Project Cyberdogs Rex Dogmeat replaced by Shadow Liger. So pretty much what this will do will change Dogmeat skin to the Cyberdog variant. So there is Rex in Fallout New Vegas, which is pretty much what this is based off. But if you've ever played Fallout 2, there is Cyberdogs in that. I think they're called like K9s. But yeah, this will change his skin to the robotic appearance with his brain sticking out and the little hologram thing on top. So if you do like the Cyberdogs from Fallout 2, and obviously Rex as well from Fallout New Vegas, this is a must-have mod. So you can change your favourite dog meat companion into a Cyberdog, which looks absolutely cool, because I did like the Cyberdogs in Fallout 2, and obviously Rex from Fallout New Vegas, which was my favourite companion in Fallout New Vegas. But we're trying to lean more on Fallout 2 because of the Cyberdogs in the Naravo base, the underground section. So it is a very nice mod, and the texture quality is pretty decent on this one, so definitely check it out to get a Cyberdog dog for your companion instead of dog meat.
Once thought the realm of science fiction, domestic robots, fusion-powered cars.
So combining these mods that are shown on screen will give you the Highwayman from Fallout 2. So it's not as good as the Highwayman from Fallout New Vegas, the mod I shown in my previous video, but it's still pretty much similar, I'd say. But the actual physics on the vehicles are not as great. But if you remember the Highwayman from Fallout 2, it's pretty much exactly the same. And you get about 4 or 5 different variants you can drive. More like Mad Max, more like the original version. But yeah, it's a drivable Highwayman, and that's pretty much it. So in Fallout 2, you had a Highwayman which was drivable, but obviously it was more like a fast travel vehicle, because obviously you couldn't really drive it in that game because it's an oldie. But yeah, this gives it a drivable version in Fallout 4. It's extremely janky, and you can actually crush objects like sandbags, and you can run over creatures, enemies, stuff like that. It's not the fastest thing, and it's probably just as quick running. And it does have somewhat of an engine sound, which isn't very loud. But the vehicle itself is very well made, and it does look very nice. But it's extremely janky, and when you drive over like cliffs and stuff, it kind of floats in the air, and when you turn left and right, it just like spins really quickly. It kind of looks weird. But other than that, the mod is very cool, and it's definitely one to have to give you that Fallout 2 feel. Which is cool about it as well, your character does actually sit inside the vehicle, and if you do have a companion, they'll sit inside the vehicle as well. So I have Rex here sat down, and he's actually more like an actual what a dog would be doing if he just sat down in front of a car, and he's kind of put his head down like that. So, and also, which is cool about it as well, the headlights do light up at night time, so when it's night, the headlamps will show on the vehicle instead of it just being pitch black, which is a cool little addition to have to the mod. So make sure you meet the requirements for this mod, otherwise it will not work. Now another one is the Humvees of Fallout by Diego Nom and Vicious Seth. So this is pretty much the same. You need to get Wasteland Garage by the same guys, otherwise these won't work. So make sure for the vehicle mods you do meet the requirements when downloading these mods, otherwise they won't work and you will have trouble using them. So if you've ever played Fallout Tactics, there is a drivable Humvee in that as well, and also on the cover art for the game, or in any art for the game, there is a Humvee in the background. So this will add a drivable Humvee to the game. It's very similar to the Highwayman, which I showed previously. I feel like it's not as janky. The cool thing about this as well, the turrets on top do actually work, and they do shoot at enemies in the game, so you don't have to just run them over. Your turrets will do all the work for you. It's great work by these mod guys, because the creation engine didn't have vehicles, and they've created them in Fallout. Now the main mod that we've all been waiting for, this isn't a vehicle, it's the best one ever created. It's a computer by Strider. Yes, Fallout 2 computers. That's pretty much it. Anyways guys, thank you for watching. Hit that like button, comment down below, and make sure you subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Adios. Bye bye.